welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my 5 tips on how to make sure you're setting yourself up for success when it comes to color correction. So stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome to my video. I wanted to make this video to talk about color corrections. How many of you guys have felt so defeated by color corrections in the past? I know that I can say I have, and it's not a fun place to be. You finish your client and they're not happy with the work, you're not happy with the work, you go home feeling defeated, and then you realize you're like, oh, I only charged them like $100 for that 8-hour service, and nobody's happy in the end. So I wanted to make a video sharing exactly how you can set yourself up for success when it comes to color corrections, and it really comes before the appointment even starts. So let me get into my 5 tips. So tip number 1 is going to be consultation, setting up those expectations from the beginning. So how many times have you guys gotten a DM from somebody on Instagram and they're like, hey, so I got highlights and my friend did it and I'm not very happy with it, so I went to the store and I bought a brown color and I put it all over, but now it's too dark, it's like black on my hair, and I really just want to be blonde, so can I just do a blonde balayage? Can you do that for me? And you're looking at them like, heck no. But obviously the client doesn't know that. They think that you can just put some more blonde on there, brown, box dye color, and it's gonna be fine. They don't realize the time. They think that you can just put, you know, blonde color on top of their brown that they just put on and make it light again, and that you just wave your magic wand and it happens. But obviously we know as hairstylists that it's not that easy, and we have to let them know ahead of time before they even step into our chair. So this is what I would do if you have somebody that sends you a DM, sends you a text, sends you any type of communication, and they tell you that they have this hair crisis, this hair tragedy happening. So I always would make sure that they would email me. So I would always have my clients email me, and then I would always say in the first line of the email is, hi, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I would love to learn more about your hair. Can you please send me photos of the front, back, and sides of your head in natural light? So maybe that means somebody needs to take a photo of you, not just a selfie. I want to make sure I see the front, back, sides of your hair, and a photo of your goal of what you want to get done. So that way they're sending me their hair and their goal so that I kind of know exactly what they want to do. So that way it gives me an idea before they even come into my salon of whether or not I'm going to take this client on, or whether I think I'm just going to let them go because their expectations may be completely out of reality. Then also in that email I ask for kind of a brief overview of what they've done to their hair for the past 2 years. Now, we know that this is important because for the past 2 years, they may have, like I said, blonde highlights on there, but they're just showing us a photo of brown hair, and they don't realize that with those blonde highlights underneath there, it's gonna completely fry their hair if we just throw bleach on top of the brown. So it's really important to ask for their hair history from the past 2 years. So once I've sent them that email message and I've gotten all that information from them, I always set up an in-person consultation when it comes to color corrections, because at the end of the day, you can only see so much in a photo. You can't feel the hair, you can't feel the porosity, you can't feel anything, and sometimes it's just good to kind of get a feeling for that client. So I always set up an in-person consultation, but I wanted to let you guys know that my consultations weren't free. They weren't free consultations. They weren't, hey, just come on in off the street. Clients actually had to pay to be there because it was paying for my time. And at the end of the day, I didn't know if they were going to become a client, so why would I waste my time doing consultation after consultation if they were just going to go down to somebody down the street? And I wanted to make sure that I was getting legit people who were going to pay my prices later in the full color correction, because we know that color corrections cost a lot of money. So if they're not willing to put in the money for the consultation, they're probably not willing to put in the money for the full color correction the way that it needs to be done, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I would make sure that they paid for my consultations, and I would just say something like, hey, thank you so much. I'd love to have you come in for an in-person consultation. This is a little bit more than just a regular balayage. It looks like it's gonna be a color correction. So by that, I am not only telling them that, hey, it's not just gonna be a quick, easy thing, I'm setting up that expectation of, hey, this is gonna be a little bit more. Then I would tell them, so my consultations are a 30-minute consultation and they cost $25. You can do $25, you can do $30. I did $40 for a 30-minute consultation spot, which was basically half my hourly rate. So I said it's gonna be $40 for a 30-minute consultation spot. That way we can come in, we can talk about your hair, we can talk about all the products that you're gonna need, all of the things, and usually they would book that appointment. And if they didn't book the appointment, again, like I said, I would let them go because they weren't a client that I wanted to have in my chair. So once they booked that appointment, then I was like, great, awesome, come on in, and we would talk about their hair. So once they came into my salon, I spent a full 30 minutes with them, and I talked to them about pricing, how much I think it was gonna cost, the steps that we were gonna have to take, how many steps it was gonna take, how much time it was gonna take. A lot of times with color corrections, we feel like we're rushing and our clients are like, hey, I gotta go pick up my kid from school, and you're like, dude, I still have another 3 hours, like I can't finish this right now. So you have to set the expectation of, hey, Jenny, I'm so excited to do your hair, it's gonna be this many steps, and just so you know, it's probably gonna be around 6 to 8 hours. So you wanna make sure that you block off your entire day, take a day off work, whatever that looks like. And I wanna make sure that we have plenty of time to do all the steps that we need to do so that we're not rushing. So make sure to set up, you know, a babysitter with your kids, or to bring in lunch, or whatever that looks like, but that way we have enough time. So that way you're setting up that expectation of, hey, you're gonna be here for a while, so they're not like, hey, it's been 3 hours, like how come I'm not done? Or they're not pissed off at the end saying, okay, my hair only got this light and she took 6 hours. Again, setting that expectation. So once you talk about your price, kind of how much you estimate it's gonna cost, and one thing I always do in the consultation is I never talk about a solid price. So I say, hey, Jenny, for all these services, it's gonna be a balayage and a root shadow, and we're probably gonna need to do blah, 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 blah. That's probably gonna cost you around $600, and then an additional $100 for products that you're gonna need to take home, such as shampoo, conditioner, maybe an Olaplex treatment, a mask, whatever that looks like. So you're looking at around $700, and it's also gonna be about an 8-hour process. We could split that up into 2 appointments, we could do that all in one, but I just want to let you know so that you know that this is going to be a little bit more than just slapping some bleach on there and a $100 color out the door. So once you've talked about time, price, then you want to talk about the outcome. You want to let them know that, hey, your hair has a lot of different things going on there. I've never touched your hair before. It may do something different than what I've done, you know, than what I think it's gonna do. So you wanna make sure that you're setting up that outcome, under promising and over delivering. So that brings me to tip number 2 is always under promise and over deliver. So what happens is when Jenny comes in for her consultation and you're like, you see her photo, you see her hair, and you're like, okay, I think I can get her to somewhere near that photo, but I'm not quite sure. Obviously I've never done her hair. So that's what you're thinking in your mind. So what would happen is if you tell Jenny, hey, oh my gosh, I love that photo. I think you can totally get there. We're totally gonna be able to do that. Don't worry, it's gonna be great. You're gonna be beautiful. You're gonna be walking out as a blonde bombshell, and there's gonna be no damage. Okay, so Jenny's gonna be so stoked walking out of that appointment, but what happens if you don't get there? Then you totally just set yourself up for failure. We don't want that. So instead what you would do is you would look at the 2 pictures and you would say, hey, Jenny, I love that blonde color. I think that's a gorgeous goal. However, because I've never done your hair before, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to that goal today, but I'm gonna do my very best that we can to get you close to that goal. You may still have a little bit more dimension, and it may take a 2nd or 3rd appointment to get to that goal so that we can make sure that we're not damaging your hair, we're gonna keep the integrity, blah, blah, blah. Tell them all the things. And so you know, it's also gonna cost this much, and it's gonna be this amount of time for your first appointment, and that still may not be quite where we are, but don't worry, I'm gonna make sure that you look gorgeous walking out. It may not be exactly the photo, but we're gonna get you as close to it as possible, and you're still gonna be beautiful walking out here. I would never let you walk out with stripes or orange or chunky or anything like that. So what you're doing with this is you're under promising and you're over delivering. So if you under promise that you're not gonna quite get there, it might take 2 to 3 appointments, and guess what? You actually get there in 1 appointment. Jenny is gonna be stoked. She's gonna be telling all her friends. She's gonna be posting on social media. She's gonna be loving her beautiful blonde hair that you gave her, versus the opposite where you told her you were gonna get there and you got maybe there she's gonna be disappointed. She's gonna be so bummed. She's gonna be like, I went to this girl, I spent $600, I spent 6 hours, and my hair is not like the photo. So by always setting yourself up for success, you wanna make sure that you're under-promising and over-delivering. One other thing about under-promising and over-delivering is it's kind of giving you a safety net, because sometimes the hair does weird things. Maybe there's a chemical reaction, maybe there's henna in the hair, maybe it turns bright orange, who knows? And so by you not knowing what the hair is gonna do, you wanna make sure that you're giving yourself that safety net, and by under-promising and over-delivering, you're gonna make sure that you do that. Okay, so tip number 3 is always grab a deposit and have them sign a waiver. So you want to make sure that you're getting the deposit for their next appointment. So at the consultation, let's say you schedule their appointment for a week out, maybe on Tuesday, whatever, you set their appointment, you want to make sure that they're going to place a deposit so that they actually show up. So how many times do you think you've had clients just no-show on a 6-hour color correction appointment? That has totally happened to me. And the reason why was they set up themselves for the consultation, they learned about it, they heard that it was gonna be $600 or $300 or whatever, 6 hours, they were like, okay, let's just do it. They make the appointment, and then they go home and they think about it, or they tell their husband or they tell their sister, and they're like, oh my gosh, am I really gonna go through with this? Is that really worth it? So instead of calling you to cancel the appointment, they're embarrassed, and so they just don't show up. So then you're stuck waiting for 6 hours for this spot that you could have booked other clients, and you spent maybe money buying product for them and prepping for them. So you want to make sure that you're always placing a deposit with the client. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell your client, hey, so in order to schedule your appointment for next Tuesday, we need to place a $50 deposit. And basically what that $50 deposit is, it's going to secure your spot, and as long as you show up, but if for some reason you have to cancel, I just need 48 hours notice, and then if you give me 48 hours notice, we can move that deposit to another appointment, no big deal. However, if you don't give me 48 hours notice, then you actually forfeit that deposit, and it's non-refundable, so you forfeit that deposit, and then you have to place another deposit before you can schedule your next appointment. So what this is doing is it's securing it on your end so that the client is gonna show up. No one's gonna waste $50, or they're gonna call and reschedule, or they're gonna do something like that. It makes them put a little skin in the game so that you're not just stuck waiting for somebody who didn't show up for a 6-hour color correction appointment. The second part of this is make sure to get a waiver. So I'm not a lawyer or anything legal, but if you want to have your client sign a waiver, at least with them documenting of like, hey, this is the steps that we're going to do, especially for major color corrections where there may be a little bit of damage, you want to make sure you're going to write that out. Doesn't need to be anything crazy, and again, consult a lawyer for all of this, but you can have them say something like, I understand that, we're going to be lightening my hair, there may be a little damage, I understand that in order to maintain the integrity of my hair, I need to be using the shampoo, conditioner, mask, blah, blah, blah products that my stylist recommends for me. I understand our cancellation policy, and I understand that the hair may not be exactly like the picture that I showed my stylist. Things like that, and then just have them sign it at the bottom. That way they're aware, they're making affirmative action, that they know that things could go differently, things could go wrong, and it helps set you up for success because you make sure that you've explained everything to them and that they know. Last thing about this of deposit / waiver, tip number 3 is make sure to document everything. So document the entire process. Get before and afters. Get photos of that in-between color when it's bright yellow or bright orange, and even if it's just at the shampoo bowl, and just tell your client, like, don't freak them out, but just say, hey, I want to make sure that we're documenting everything. It's kind of fun to go back and look at, blah, blah, blah. Make it seem like fun and exciting, but that way you've documented everything that you've done. Document writing down all the formulas you've used, all the masks you've used, all of that stuff, and by documenting everything, it'll make sure that you are in the safety zone when it comes to anything like that. So tip number 4 is all about social media. So if you do a color correction like this that we're talking about, make sure to share exactly what went into it. So share those before and afters, and maybe you share the after first and then a swipe over to the before, or a swipe over to see the process, which is really, really cool. But this way you're educating your clients and potential clients on what it looks like to go through a color correction with you. Explain how much time it took, how much product it took, how much it costs the client. So that way, if a client sees your beautiful blonde hair that you showed off on your page, and they don't see the before, they just think, oh gosh, she's got a magic wand and she can make my hair that way. But if you're educating your clients on your social media about what went into it, what the before looked like, all of that jazz, then you're at least setting yourself up for success before the client even contacts you and before you even have that consultation. So that way they know, oh, that's a $600 service. It costs, you know, 3 hours or however long. It's gonna take a long time for me to get that hair, so it may take several appointments. That way they mentally know that you can't just wave your magic wand and you're gonna make them blonde in an instant. Another thing to this is, if you don't wanna do color corrections, don't post them on social media. So many people say, I specialize in color corrections, or they're posting these color corrections all the time, and then they're like, I just only get color corrections. Like, what the heck? Like, can't I just do highlights? Can't I just do root touch-ups? Well, by what you put out there is what you're gonna get back. So if you're only putting out color corrections, that's what's the type of people that are gonna contact you. So if you don't want color corrections, don't be putting them out on social media. So tip number 5 is, it is totally okay to refuse a service to somebody. So let's say you have a client that comes in, they have completely unrealistic expectations, they want it to be done in 2 hours, they only want to pay $100, and they don't want to buy the products afterwards. That's when you say, bye, see you later. I don't want to do that client, because at the end of the day, you're not setting yourself up for success. If you take that client and you're like, okay, it's fine, I'll give you a discount, I'll do it for $200, and we can get it done in 3 hours, and don't worry, it'll be fine, you can go pick up your kid, it's gonna be fine, and yeah, we can totally get you to that appointment or that color. That's never gonna work out in your favor, ever. The client's gonna be disappointed, they're never gonna be happy, and you're not gonna be happy by the end of that result. You're gonna rush yourself, you're gonna cut corners, you're gonna do things, you might cause damage, you might just cause not beautiful looking hair, and you're not gonna be happy with yourself. So it's totally okay to refuse a service if you don't feel like it's gonna be in your benefit. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, if you don't feel right doing it, or if you feel like the client could never be pleased, that's when you say, it's totally fine, I don't need to do your hair. So the way that you could say this is, when the client's in your chair for the consultation, or for instance, maybe they didn't wanna come in for a consultation in the first place, red flag. But if they're in your chair for a consultation and you're like, hey, this is just not gonna happen, your expectations are totally unrealistic, say no. I would say to my clients, I had a client, she was a longtime client of mine, she wanted this white blonde hair, but she could never get there. And so I basically told her, I said, what you want is completely unrealistic. You're asking for a unicorn, but we can't ever get that. And so if you want that, we could do extensions, we could do something else, but we're never gonna be able to get your hair that blonde. She ended up crying in my chair, but I told her, I'm sorry, I won't take you there. If you would like to go to another stylist that will attempt to do this, go for it. But I am not gonna be responsible for frying your hair off or damaging your hair. At the end of the day, you're not gonna be happy with it. You're not gonna be happy with your hair breaking off. You're not gonna like it. It's not gonna be fun. And if you wanna go somewhere else to get that done, feel free. So let yourself off the hook by refusing the service and just say, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing that, but here's maybe a stylist that could do that for you. Or, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing that. If you would like to go somewhere else and find somebody that could do it, be my guest. That way, you're setting yourself up for success and not having a failure where you're feeling bummed about the service and the client's bummed, especially when they're never gonna be happy in the first place anyways. So in closing, I just wanna say these last 3 things. Make sure to set up those expectations from the very beginning. By setting the expectations, it's gonna help you out so much, and you're not gonna have that failure moment at the end. Number 2 is know your value and expertise. Know how much you need to charge for these color corrections. They're not easy services. They take a lot of expertise, a lot of experience, take a lot of products, and a lot of time. So make sure that you're knowing your value and charging appropriately. So if something's gonna take you 4, 5, 6 hours, don't charge them $100. Charge them $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, even more depending on how many products you use. For me, I charged $100 per hour for color corrections, and I could easily have charged more because they take a lot of time and they take a lot of expertise. And don't let the client let you down by saying, you don't know what you're doing, how could you know what you're doing? Know your expertise, and just remember that you are in control. And number 3 is don't compromise. Again, it's okay to refuse those services, it's okay to say no. Don't compromise, don't rush a service, don't do something for cheaper or do something that you know that you shouldn't do because the client told you you should do it. Don't compromise, you are the expert, you're the person that's in charge of this service, and don't let the clients take over. In closing, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you guys want to continue the conversation or if you have more questions about this, leave them in the comment box below. I love starting those conversations and I love chatting with you guys. And And make sure to come say hi over on Instagram. I would love to meet you over there. I love talking to people about who've watched my videos, and let me know what you found helpful about this video. I hope that it was helpful for you guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below, and I will see you guys next time. I hope to make more videos like this, and like I said, let me know if you guys liked it in the comment box below, and that way I can create more videos like this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Today I'm gonna be making a video, and I don't know what to say. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow, there was a lot of bloopers in that one. Oh my gosh.